Hello, and welcome to Shamrock Talk, the internet's number one mother-son Celtics podcast. I'm your host, Jake Olin, here once again with my mother, Karen Olin.
Hello.
We're back. 1 day delay. I apologize. You were in Chicago. I was in the city, Buenos Aires, for a little. And we thought we'd just wait until the results of the first in-season tournament game. So the time of recording this, the Celtics are 15-5, first in the Atlantic Division, first in the East, second in the NBA now, half game behind Minnesota, and eliminated from the in-season tournament. Since we last talked, we got 4 games on the agenda. Some of them more interesting than others, I think. So, maybe we'll spend some more time on some of the more interesting aspects. But we can start last Sunday. Win versus the Hawks. I feel like every game we play against the Hawks is exactly the same. Like it's just the same game. It's like we always like it's close in the first quarter. Halftime we take in a good lead. Third quarter, early fourth, maybe they stage a little comeback, but we're never really in trouble and we win the game. It's like deja vu every time. It's like I don't even have to watch these games. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just it's just the same story every time with this team. So I don't know if you have any thoughts besides that, but I don't know. I don't know what to say.
No, I think Tatum had a solid game. He was shooting well, but
he always shoots well against the Hawks. It's the same game.
They don't really have
this game before.
Any
exactly
strong defense.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I've just seen this game like 100 times. Oh, Tatum plays well.
Kada, right? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
I thought he was good in that game.
Yeah,
I thought I think he has a little potential there, which I'll talk about later.
No Porzingusless nor
Drew.
Drew in this game.
Drew out for that one. Yeah. No, I thought it was pretty straightforward. I think Bogdanovich kept him in it. He was very hot in the first half.
I've seen this game. We played the same game against the Hawks.
He was like 7 for 9, I think, in the first half.
He always plays well against us. How is he still on the Hawks? I don't know why he's coming off the bench. I mean, he's like their best player every time we play them. But I agree. I'm watching the game. DeJounte Murray doesn't play well. Like I've seen this game. Yeah. I've just seen it. It's the craziest thing.
Same thing last time. They don't use Murray well at all. Like they haven't figured him out at all. He was like non-existent.
Not a good fit. It was never a good fit from the beginning. Yeah. It's like two ball dominant guards, and he doesn't really know what to do when he doesn't have the ball. And
And Kada had 10 rebounds in 15 minutes in that game.
Yeah.
Just an FYI. 10 rebounds in 15 minutes. Again, not that they're a rough and tumble team because they're not, but
no.
But yeah, no.
Yep, it was though Capella and
I thought he was. I thought he did well. I mean, I thought it was a pretty impressive showing for him. But yes, I agree. It always looks the same. They look the same. And not much to say against that game.
Exactly. It's the Hawks, still the Hawks, same team we saw last year, basically doing the same things. They're 8-8. They made the playoffs. It's the same team. It's
and again, just to point out, we shot the 3 at 27% in that game. I don't say more about that later.
I mean, yes, there's more
27%.
More to speak on that. So moving on, next we played the Bulls. The weird in-season tournament game. We needed to win by 23 to have a chance to advance. I agree. It's just silly. I agree. They got to figure something out because I don't know. People were very complimentary. I saw some opinions on Twitter and podcasts about how it makes, it was an interesting day of basketball. I thought it was just so silly.
Mazzulla was crawling out of his skin. He felt awful. Zach LaVine and DeRozan left the bench. They weren't even on the bench at the end of the game. They were gone. So, I mean, I felt uncomfortable. I'm sure Mazzulla felt uncomfortable. I mean, the fact that you're winning by that much and Tatum and Brown are still in and shooting, and it's just, it's a team that's not been doing well anyway. And so
it's a team that flat out stinks. They are just, they looked like they didn't want to be there. We needed to win big to advance. And so we came out kind of motivated. And
I will
yeah,
say that was a game I was very impressed with Tatum. He only finished with 21 points and didn't seem to hog the ball. You know, like he really distributed the ball well.
Everyone
he
else was
passed
hot.
well. I think he did a good job not sort of rubbing it in, and he really could have gone to town on that team.
And
but he
I
did
like you said, we shot 42% from three, 42.9. So we crushed them. Welcome to the Celtics experience now. Can we hit our 3-point shots? Can we not? That's the game.
Yeah. Again, not great defense with that team at all. So that's,
no, they're just bad. They looked like they didn't want to be there. That team just looks miserable. They're gonna make some trades.
And in that
in
game,
the rumor mill.
Jason Tatum was 25% at three.
Yeah.
Everybody else made him. Sam Hauser was only 20, 2 for 10. I mean, there were some people that brought up that average.
Yeah. I mean, some guys were shooting lights out.
Yeah. So anyway, not a lot to say about that game except for uncomfortable. They need to rethink how they're doing the in-season tournament. I just thought that was overkill.
Yeah. I saw people online that were like, this is a big, great success for the NBA. I'm like, well, I just did not like it at all. The players didn't seem to like it. I was like, who? Like, I don't know.
This game in particular, not about this game, just the in-season tournament, you mean?
Yeah, but like just about this whole, how these games are interesting because of the point differential and stuff. I'm like, I
think last night's game had an energy to it that typically wouldn't have had.
Oh, of course, yeah. We'll get to last night later. Yeah.
So I think certain games, are better than others, but this type of game,
this is silly. It was silly.
Was not. Yeah.
Well,
agreed.
The other issue with this is the poor Magic, who had played earlier, so they didn't know that they needed to win by 1 million to.
Yeah.
Like they just had to sit at home and watch the Celtics run up the score. Yeah, that we were last because
got lucky.
If we played before and didn't know the spread, then it changes the outcome. I mean,
we got lucky.
Like it's just like
we got lucky in the timing too, and who we were playing.
Well, correct, exactly.
That we were able to run up the score.
It felt like it was just by chance that we had this weird scenario. And agreed, I don't know, just seemed silly in the past. Doesn't matter now.
Absolutely.
Moving on from there. We got Philadelphia Friday. You were in the building, back in the Garden.
In the building. We started out disappointed because Embiid and Maxey were not playing.
Correct.
So we were there, we were excited, and of course Porzingusless hasn't been playing.
Correct.
But Drew was playing, so we were excited. I mean, excited in the beginning, found out their two best players went, and they were like, oh no. Then it turned out to be a good close game.
Yeah. How's the crowd? Energy?
Excellent. You would definitely think it was very, very high. I think anytime we play the Sixers, it's very high energy. It's always high energy.
Also Friday night games are always.
And the Sixers came out with energy. Like they were ready to go. I think all those players were hyped up that Embiid and Maxey weren't there, and they have their opportunity to get on the No,
it's always a sneaky.
They played hard. They played very hard.
Pat Beverly was on fire. He was like, he was like led those guys.
Yeah. So what helped us in the very beginning was they called a lot of weird fouls. A lot of fouls. We had 22 foul shots in the first half for just the Celtics, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so the feeling was this set of refs right away had decided that they were going to call a few tight. I don't know. I don't know what the difference was. Similar to last night's game, if you watched it, they called it less tight, right? A lot more physical, a lot more. This one in the beginning, second half was a little different, but in the beginning, they were calling some, tight fouls that typically haven't been called. They've let the game get a little rough. And in this first half, I think they called some fouls right away that hadn't been called previously, which sort of changed the tone of the game, I will say. Because like I said, I think Sixers came out with a lot of energy. We came out with energy, but the Sixers were, somewhat ready to go. So that was a very interesting thing. And the reason that I bring that up is it leads me to, we'll talk about, third quarter with Tatum.
Yeah.
He had his way. I will tell you, almost every foul, he had quite a few foul shots. He was on the line, I
Mhm.
think, more than almost anyone in the game before
Yep.
that. So a lot of calls had gone his way and our team's way at that point.
He did
I
shoot
think he
more
was,
free throws than anyone else in the game.
yes, and he was only in the game till the third quarter.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So
In the third quarter.
I think that took a little, he was complaining. He was
Yeah.
kind of barking at the refs. And I think that they had a lot of calls had gone his way. And I think that's kind of what ended up happening and why he got the second tech. But anyway, you watched the game. Go ahead. What did you have to say about the game?
Yeah, in terms of the Tatum, the ejection, to play devil's advocate, I think we do get, like, in terms of technical fouls, I feel like our team doesn't get the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? The same standard as some other teams and other guys.
Yeah.
Yes, the patience with these refs that they have with I don't understand it. It's like, not to say Tatum doesn't complain and Porzingusless has had a couple technicals, but like our guys are more like passive aggressive kind of.
Yeah.
They're not like in there, like some of the guys, like, I mean, Draymond obviously comes to mind. He's like notorious, but there are even other guys, even like a Pat Beverly, that are more like in the refs' faces. And they get more, there's a term I'm looking for. I can't think of right now, but they get more leeway with the refs than some of our guys at times. Which, I mean, again, does Tatum complain too much? Sure. But it's not an in your face kind of screaming. It's just like, I feel like sometimes they're so just like,
I think
weird
Tatum,
about what.
it's just constant.
Yeah,
whenever
agreed.
he
But
goes,
other guys, it's constant. A lot of guys,
whenever he goes up, he is always asking for a foul. He's always kind of in there. And I'm not saying other players don't do that, but it is pretty constant with him. And when he got the first one that he got, didn't Patrick Beverly get one in the beginning? Who else got one for their team? I think a couple had been called, and even Missoula. Didn't Missoula get one that game? I thought there were a couple of technicals anyway in the first half.
Yeah, of course.
And they were calling it tight. I will say, I don't know if they had talked beforehand. The fouls were called fairly tightly. They called a couple technicals that typically wouldn't be called a technical. So I agree with Tatum's first technical. It was kind of a weird, I don't know. And then they called one on one of the Sixers. I can't remember who at this moment. So in the first half, I think they were definitely a little more calling the game tighter than other refs have. I'm not sure why. But the second technical with Tatum, he was called off a couple times to the point where he followed the guy. They were reviewing it for flagrant. He followed them to the monitor. I think he was just in their face. So they go to they had already decided it was a foul. There was nothing to discuss as far as he was concerned. They were going to the monitor. He's still following them to the monitor. They called one of the assistant coaches over to come get him. The assistant coach steps in, tries to pull him away. He's still going. I mean, two refs blew their whistle at once to give him a technical at that point. He just kept going, followed him to the monitor. It was like,
I'm not saying he's right. Yeah. But you do, like, again, a guy like LeBron does the same thing and doesn't get technical. He's constantly complaining. And again, I don't like the complaining at all of many of these guys, but I just feel like Tatum, more than most superstar guys, does get these like technical calls that are just seem compared to others, bit like there's so many guys that are constantly complaining like that.
Yeah. But I also think as far as our team is concerned, we don't have a very complaining team. We aren't, with the exception of Tatum.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's really
but it seems like we're getting technical fouls like everybody else is. And it doesn't seem like we're complaining much.
Maybe that's why he stands out, because our team doesn't complain.
But that just seems like it's unfairly being applied to him. But
agreed.
Okay.
It is. He does seem whiny because we don't have a whiny team overall.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And it's like, why are we kind of being picked on with these technicals? Like Porzingis like looks at a ref wrong and they give him a tech this year. It's bizarre.
Well, and I will say that the Sixers played terrific defense on him. They know him, right? They know his every move. They know when to double team him. He was out in early in the third quarter, and he had 7 turnovers. That last one with the foul was he had dribbled too long. They double teamed him. I think he was frustrated anyway. But again, you have 7 turnovers. You're doing something wrong. You are holding the ball. They know you. They're double teaming you. And there's no Embiid and Maxey. And you have 7 turnovers. Like, come on, pick your game up. So hopefully he looked back at that film and he can look back and say, you know what? I need to get rid of the ball sooner. They played good defense on me. They, and that's exactly what happened. He held it too long. They double teamed him. Someone poked and got their hand in, and then he did his little flail and accident. It was malicious, even though, and they called that one back. They called that flagrant back. Maybe just because they felt bad for giving 2 techs, because the first one was, and he did happen to hit Covington in the eye with a little flail or whatever, but obviously wasn't purposeful. It was his kind of, when he gets it stolen, arms go up trying to look for the foul kind of thing. But yeah, it just reminded me with that technical that, he had the ball in his hands. They double team. That's a team that plays him and defense on him extremely well. And he had a good night. I mean, at 21 points, he shot fairly well, 7 rebounds, and he left the game early. So, yeah. So anyway, anything else about that game that stood out to you?
No, I think it's time for the big one.
And I think I will say one more thing about the fouls in that game. I think it helped us a lot. Near the end, who fouled out? Melton. Melton fouled out. And also Patrick Beverly. I mean, there were a few people with. Melton fouled out.
Covington had 4.
Oops. So I think that they had some players that
What? Hello?
Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulty. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't know what's going on, but anyway, I can't see you anymore.
That's fine.
So anyway, I think they had a little bit of more foul trouble than we had, which really changed and benched a few people that were playing well for them. Yeah. Which really put us, ahead. So anyway, it was a good game. It was a fun game, much more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because they came out to play, and it was a good game. Their defense is very good, I will say. That's it. That's all I have for that one.
Yep. So let's get to last night. Celtics fall in the first round of the in-season tournament to the Indiana Pacers, 112-122 at Indiana. Big crowd was involved, I would say, in this game. Felt like bigger than, a normal in-season game, as we kind of talked about. But a big stinker for the Celtics to eliminate them in the first round, not going to Vegas. What were your initial thoughts?
Most of the game, it was a good game. I mean, I think that the Pacers came out with energy. I think they moved the ball well. I think having Halliburton on the floor changes. I mean, we blew him out last time. Changes the entire game, and I was really interested in seeing how it changed the entire game. But he is complimentary to everybody. He's really good. Very, very good and low-key player, at least with us. He had a quiet 20 whatever points, I 26. Thought, except for his
triple-double, 26, 13, and 10.
And you didn't even know it. It wasn't like he was superstar, had the ball in his hands all the time,
until the end,
kind of thing.
Until he closed it down.
Yes. I thought he distributed the ball well. I thought he was a very impressive player. You would not have once said, I mean, there was couple 35-foot 3-pointers that he shot up, and you're like, whoa, and swish.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, it was ridiculous. The shots they were hitting.
Yeah. Unbelievable, but he was extremely impressive. I thought, like I said, not like a Doncic or a Jokic or a Tatum or I thought was seamless and never or very rarely felt like he's holding the ball too long. He's makes
quick moves.
He does.
Comes off picks and rolls really well.
Yes. Yes, extremely impressive. Yeah, yeah. No, I thought he made all the difference compared to the last time we played them when we
Of
blew
course,
them out.
crushed them.
What were your thoughts?
Um, I just didn't think the Celtics played very well. Thought we kind of stunk. I expected, the Indiana had an energy like it was a playoff game. Like the crowd, they were hustling. They really wanted it bad. They wanted to be there. We just didn't have that energy like it felt at all from the beginning of the game. And I mean, as we'll talk about all year, do the Celtics hit their threes? Yes, they win. No, they don't. I mean, we didn't hit threes, 29%. They were at 47%, which I mean, obviously it's an outlier, um, but I mean, the defensively, we couldn't guard them. We couldn't get a stop down. Tatum, I mean, to his credit, down the stretch, he was ice cold. They couldn't guard him. He's hitting every shot. But they were just he would come down, hit a 2, they would hit a 3. We couldn't guard them for anything.
No.
The other thing I will say is this team is not the same without Porzingis. He would have made an immense difference in this game. Inside, I mean, they had nobody.
He's definitely a good, yeah.
Like they didn't have, like they weren't
addition.
guarding the paint. I mean, in terms of the alley-oop threat, the drive, and have him roll. I mean, I thought Al Horford really struggled in this game. Just defensively, they were switching on him and driving.
Yeah.
I thought he just
last time he came in, he did a good job and kind of steadied us a little bit. We started kind of creeping a little closer when he came back in the last time, but he isn't the same. This is I think a very athletic team. I mean, they don't look super tall, but they're very athletic.
Yeah.
And so you're right. I think our defense was just not good. We're not good in the lane. Like we just simply aren't. I don't know.
I think we are with
switching.
Porzingis. Just his shot blocking ability. He's just a presence in that. He's so tall, and he's a guy that you can rely on. Yeah, but that's what we were missing, especially at the end. I mean, it's inexcusable.
I was disappointed defensively we didn't put Kata in. I would have liked to see him have 5 or 10 minutes just to see if he could have clogged up and just been a little bit big in the lane for us.
Agreed.
Now, like you said, they were hitting threes, so that wouldn't have helped in that, but they also were pretty unstoppable in the lane for a while there. We couldn't shut him down.
Especially at the end. It was like, it was brutal.
Agreed.
I mean, I will give credit because I've been hard on him. I think I've completely reversed my opinion. I thought the one guy who really came up big was Sam Hauser.
Yes.
We needed a timely 3. He hit the timely 3. And I've been harping on him, or I did earlier in the year, because I had always said it 100%. Felt like every 3 he hit was just like he was a front runner. We're up already, and then he just kind of piled on. And when we really needed him to come through, he just wasn't that clutch guy. I mean, in this game, he was the one guy that they were going on a run. Guess who's there? Sam Hauser hits a 3 to end their run. I thought he shot 5 or 7 from 3, and the shots you needed him to hit, he hit. He was there, and more than anybody else on our team. I mean, besides Tatum at the end, who I already said was hitting his shots, but timely shots, Sam Hauser was knocking him down. He was the one guy really this game, especially from deep, that you could rely on. He was the only guy that shot above 50%, above like 30%.
And I'm going to tell you now, defensively, they really picked on him. As soon as one of their guys had Sam Hauser, they were going to the hoop on Sam Hauser. And he was phenomenal.
It's a PSA. For the rest of the league. You can't ISO Sam Hauser. You can't do it. They tried like the third or fourth best guy on every team thinks it's his time when Sam Hauser's on him. He's like, oh, I got the white guy on me. I'm gonna go, and it never works. It's always a plus for us. Yeah, he's a good defender.
He's solid. He lets him hit. He's a tough guy. He's
couple times Bruce Brown tried to,
even rebounding. I thought he did he hit a couple out when we needed him to. He didn't get credit for the rebound, but he had at least 3 where he tapped it back out.
Yeah. A couple times Bruce Brown tried to ISO Hausers. Like, this is, my time to score. Never. I mean, every time. How many times these guys got to think?
Without a foul at the ring. jumped straight.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought a very good job. I think
No,
this was one of
I
the best
100% agree.
games all around for Sam Hauser. I
Agreed.
completely
He was the
agree.
one guy that I can honestly say
Yeah.
that game was had an
Yeah.
above average game.
And I think now, I remember earlier in the year, I was saying we did not do a very good job setting him up. And I think we're doing a much, much better job. And Peyton Pritchard did a fantastic job setting him up. Drew Holidays does a fantastic job. The drive and dish out. And if you can do that, give him a little bit of time. His percentage is very good. Very good.
Yes, I think his confidence is very high too, which I think is a big thing. I think he's. I don't know. I hope he can keep this up because
he was the only plus for us. +9. Everybody else was
you're right.
Minus. Only plus for us was Sam Hauser out there.
No, I thought
so. I think it took too long for them to bring him in the end, in the second half. I think they took. He came in and I think he hit 1 or 2 right away. I think they took too long to get him back in because you're right. Nobody else could shoot. 2 for 8 at 3. Tatum, 2 for 7, Jaylen Brown, 0 for 1,
9
Al,
White,
2 for 9. I mean, nobody else was hitting 0 for 4 for Pritchard. Nobody could hit this.
Brutal.
So it took him a little bit too long to get him back in. I think he only played 22 minutes, and the way he was playing, I would have played him a lot more.
Yeah,
like I said, I would have put Kata in. I also think on our offense that we are still struggling a little bit of how to play Derek White and Drew Holiday. I think that Tatum and Jaylen have the ball at the top a lot, especially Tatum. And I think we struggle with how exactly to play Drew Holiday and Derek White offensively anyway.
Tatum has the ball at the top more because when Jaylen Brown has the ball at the top, it's going up. He's shooting. If he has the ball, it's like, I mean, just a couple, even in this game, a couple of times he's dribbling down, immediately pulls up from 3 early in the shot clock. You're like, what are you doing?
Like, okay, It's like, okay, no more. You don't bring the ball up anymore. I
mean,
which again, if you're hitting all 9 or 7 or whatever, then that's one thing, but you weren't.
But there's never a reason, unless you're wide open, to pull up like early in the shot clock. Just do that at the end of the shot clock. Try to get a better shot. Just the contested 3 pull up at the beginning of the shot clock, it just irks me. It's every time.
And especially in this close of a game. I think Jason Tatum has one as well. In this close of a game, when you need the points and you are not shooting the 3 well, why are you shooting the 3? And this game, their defense up the lane was not the greatest all the time, too. I mean,
Scal was harping on that all game. It's like they just
why
guard the
aren't
perimeter
you going to the hoop?
But this is where I think we immensely missed Porzingis. Pick and roll, lob it into Porzingis inside. Because I will say more what I've seen, what I think the strength Porzingis had this year that I haven't seen him in previous years with other teams is he bullies guys inside now. If you have a small guy on him, he gets physical and he kind of bullies you. And I think this game, I think we really missed that because no one, as I said, Al's just not that guy anymore. And
he did not play very much either, did he?
31.
31. Minutes. Okay, more than I thought he did.
The other thing I would have done, we went to it a little later, but we need to, when Tatum has a smaller guy, post him up more. Tell Tatum to post up.
But that would be we'd have to have either Drew or Derek White at the top of the key passing down. Like
correct.
But we need to do that more.
We have done it sometimes this year.
Yes. And it's usually in the first half. For some reason, in the second half, those type of plays seem to disappear. They really just seem to disappear. It's like have the point guards bring the ball down. And you're right, especially when Miles Turner was not in the game. Why isn't Tatum cutting towards the hoop more? We did have a couple last night in the first half where he got some easy layups because we had some good passers. And that is Drew, that is Derek White, that is Peyton Pritchard. They can pass. Why are we not cutting away from the ball more? And so I agree.
Think, we've harped on Tatum's inability to kind of see double teams and pass out of them. I think he's best at that from the post up. You post him up, kind of on the block. He can see the double team turn and make. I think that's a way to get him to kind of see those double teams, show them on film. Here's when the second guy comes. It's kind of what, you know, a Jokic or an Embiid has added it this year. And I know he's not as big as those guys, but he's not like, people don't give Tatum the credit. He's 6'10". He's a big dude, and most defenders are smaller than him.
And he moves well. He moves well. So give him the opportunity. Yeah. I agree.
I think 100%. I agree. Have the point guard, have him post up. If the double comes, I think he'll be able to at least get the reps to start feeling the double team out. And then maybe that affects the way he sees the double team at the front court and the back court and other places. So I agree. I think especially against a team like this, that's mostly smaller than him, like get him the ball down low. He's good at that.
Agreed. 100%. And, you know, even when we try and trick the other team where Derek White brings it up in the end, what happens? Tatum pretends he sets a pick, and then he pulls away, and we're looking for him. That's our offense. Yeah. That's our offense. It's like every team knows this. So those two defenders, the one you're pretending to set the screen on, stays with you, and the other guy stays with you. And even when you pull away to get the ball, you still got two guys on you because they know what your offense is. So if we can just change it up, like you said, and truly have Drew and Derek White bring it down in the second half as point guards and have Tatum move away from the ball, because these two guys can pass. They are not bad passers, and they try. We just
don't turn it over ever. I mean, those two guys.
Derek had a struggle night, but it wasn't a bad struggle night. He actually had two passes where he assumed, I think Drew had one too, where people were cutting to the hoop.
Correct. Yeah.
Why are we not cutting to the hoop in the open? We
Agreed.
We get maybe one or two of those if we're lucky per game.
Yeah.
Like, come on, people. Why can't we cut away from the ball? I don't understand. Yeah.
And again, a part of that's coaching. Why are we not like, why is Missoula in practice not like cut? Why are they not showing? I mean, I would just get on repeat a film of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown being the weak side defenders and the guys backdoor cutting to them and getting easy baskets. I mean, I've seen that a million times, especially Jaylen Brown falls asleep on the weak side. His guy cuts to the basket behind his back and scores an easy bucket, and be like, why can't we do this? Why is this being done against us constantly for easy? And I've never seen, I mean, like rarely once in a blue moon do we cut like that.
And especially right now when everybody thinks you're not going to do it. They know what you're doing.
Exactly. Correct. Exactly. It's the best time.
Tatum's going to set a screen and then he's going to get the ball. Oh no, it's Jaylen Brown's time. Jaylen's going to pretend to set a screen and then we're going to look for him every single time.
But it comes back to my original point. You know who does do that? Porzingis. He'll sit in the corner and he will cut. He's a cutter. That's the big when he's in there, that's the big difference. He's a cutter and he doesn't mind cutting to the basket and rolling to the basket. And Al's a big guy, but he doesn't do that. He's not a cutter.
Well, he can't jump anymore. Correct. He really can't. He's just not keeping up.
No, exactly. I agree.
Two is not tall enough. Like he's just, I mean, Porzingis is a monster. Yeah. I'm
not criticizing Al for that. I'm just saying that's not his role. That's just not what he's going to do. And we need it should be Porzingis, Tatum, Brown. But it's just Porzingis. That's just the reality.
Yes. And I agree. I've been tough on Porzingis at times, and I'm hoping that this injury is not a sign of things to come through the season.
Correct. That's the big concern.
He worries me a little bit in general.
I agree.
But I agree on offense. He is a big guy that moves with the ball well.
He's a game changer.
Offensively, my complaint of him is I don't want us relying on the three with him, because his percentages, if you go back, I think he had one game, the very first game, where he shot fairly well. After that, he's not. And he is one that pulls up at the beginning of a shot clock, just like everybody else.
Agreed.
We have plenty of those. We don't want those anymore. We have plenty of those people. He moves well in the lane. He's an incredible tall guy in the lane. Yeah. Feed him, like you said. He does a good job getting to the hoop with the ball. He has great hands. We're not great passers to him, and I know, Adam Silver's on the big, wants no one resting this year, but if we could just, not play him to March, I'd be fine with that. Put him in a glass case somewhere. That's kind of why I was excited about a week off, because I don't know if you noticed last night, Derek White, I've never seen him limp as much as he was last night. Drew
Yeah, he had a
Holiday
couple of
was
knee things
limping
and
last
stuff.
night. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad we're not going to Vegas for the win. I'm kind of glad. I was hoping we weren't going to play another game. Obviously, you said we're playing Friday, the consolation game, but they need some time off. Those two were definitely hobbling. So a few days off, I don't mind at this point in the season. I'm okay with not coming home with the in-season tournament cup. We need a little bit of time to
Well,
recoup.
now we got one thing to focus on. Win Larry O'Brien this year. Come on.
Do what?
Get a little motivated. Said now we got one thing to focus on this year. Let's win the Larry O'Brien. Let's bring it back home.
Yes.
Come on.
I agree with you. I think Porzingusless offensively helps us a lot. Gives us just another option, and we need another option at this point. Other than with last night's game, I thought up until the end it was actually a very good game. Going back and forth, people scoring,
Yeah, and then I was
mean,
actually
we couldn't stop them.
No, we could, but that's what that's what they do. They don't play defense and they score a lot.
Yeah.
They're not a bad team.
No,
all right.
No, I thought.
Well, that brings us to player of the week. I mean,
you go ahead.
Couple it was never going to be anyone on the Bulls.
No.
Sixers didn't have their two best guys.
The only one I was raving about is, I guess, I had a hard time this week finding a player of the week. And the one that I was raving about that was, actually, I gotta shout out in the Pacers game. He was, okay, I've got my player of the week.
All right, who is it? I think I know.
Aaron Nesmith.
That's mine too.
I had forgotten about him.
Oh my gosh.
He covered Tatum so well at the end there. His defense was good. His offense was good. And I always get so excited when Celtics go to another team and thrive. I do. Yeah. I don't know why, but I get very excited.
Just saw the guy develop, and I like his energy, emotion at the clutch buckets at the end of the game. Besides Halliburton in the fourth quarter, he was their guy. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I was watching. He was toasting everybody, getting to the basket with ease, scoring tough layups. I was like, who is this guy? I couldn't believe it. Yeah. Like a completely different player.
All about him. Halliburton was going to be my guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's the obvious choice.
He's a known.
He was fantastic. Exactly. I thought the same thing.
Seamless playing, seamlessly. He never felt like he was hogging the ball or taking control. He seamlessly plays, and I really like that. But as soon as I saw it,
you went through the exact same. I saw you go in your head, through your head the exact same thing that I did, where I was like, well, Halliburton's the obvious choice, but Nesmith was fantastic. And so you have to go.
That second half, he was the difference maker.
Oh, I mean, clutch time. It wasn't just, it was like down the stretch when they needed buckets. It was him or Halliburton.
But also his defense he took on Tatum. He played Tatum, and I thought he played him well. I really do. I think he played him well. I mean, that's a big take for him.
Yeah, I agree.
But he's not as much of a bull in a china closet anymore. He seems a little bit more in control. Do you remember when he would pounce on everybody? His energy, it just didn't seem to quite be in control. And I think he's coming into his own, but he's as strong, right? Strong as he used to be, fast, and really did a good job on Tatum defending.
I mean, I just I'll never understand. Coming out of college, the scouting report on him was he's like a 3-and-D guy, like a spot up shooter, knockdown 3-point shooter, like a Sam Hauser, basically. That was the scouting report on him. And he's like a good player. He's just not that. It's he's like a slasher, more get to the basket, super athletic, good defending. He's not a 3-and-D guy at all. And I just never understand why that was the scouting report coming out of. Everyone said he shot 3.
Everybody kept waiting for him to be that guy. Yeah,
well, exactly. Yeah. And it's like he's a good NBA player. He's just not that guy, and that's what the Celtics expected from him. That's what we needed, and it ended up being Hauser instead of him. But
he had 14 points in the whole game. Yeah, 11 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he was their guy. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He killed us.
Yep.
We couldn't stop him.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's so funny how that. And I said to you at the beginning before we were recording, I don't know who my player of the week is. Some of
I
these
mean,
games,
before the
I don't know.
Pacers game, it was tough. I mean, you could
Yeah,
say I do
it's
like
like,
Pat Beverly was my guy
yeah, they
before.
played
I'm a
well.
big
Yeah,
Pat Beverly guy, and he had a
yeah,
good game. But I
yeah.
mean, we'd won
He
all
and
3
Melton.
games. I
Yeah,
hate the Hawks. The Bulls are just a disaster, and yeah.
yeah.
Sixers
How about Levine on the? I forgot to mention that 2 points. He had 2 points in the whole game.
It's
Zach
not
Levine
good.
did.
He
Like
doesn't play any
what?
defense.
What? Isn't he their star player?
Yes.
Isn't he their highest paid?
Yes. So the
I believe
rumor
he's
is
their highest paid
correct.
person.
The rumor is they want to trade him.
Yeah, 2 points. Yes, of course,
Yeah.
I'd want to trade him too. 2 points in the whole game.
Yeah.
If he is my biggest contract, I am so disappointed. Like,
Well,
what is going on?
The rumor is they want to trade him, but no one really wants him. They're not going to trade anyone
Yeah.
back for him because
Because he's not done very much the last couple. Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
too
He
big
was
of a
hurt.
contract? He doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
And why would you take on that money for a guy that doesn't play any defense? Is not like a hyper elite scorer. Is pretty like streaky and makes $40 million a year. It's ridiculous.
Points. 2. He had me 2 points. Like what?
Well, anyway. I was laughing because people were saying we live in a world now where the trade market for Alex Caruso is now higher than Zach LaVine. They'll get more trading Caruso than they will Zach LaVine. And I mean, I don't disagree.
Yeah. He at least had 8 in 19 minutes.
And he plays defense. He's a really good defender.
Yeah, he is a good defender. Agreed. Yeah, Zach LaVine, I don't know if he's just become a head case or I don't know.
Yep.
Anyway, I had forgotten about that.
All right, upcoming, we got Friday, the losers bracket game. We'll take on the loser of Knicks Milwaukee at home.
I don't even want to play that game.
Yeah, again, the in-season tournament needs some fixing. It's like what? Like
who wants to play that game? Nobody.
It's because they count as regular season games.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
and so we need another game now, and it's just a whole silly thing.
Yeah.
And then back to back against the Cavaliers Tuesday, Thursday of next week.
They're doing pretty well, aren't they? The Cavs?
Nah, not as well this year. They're kind of middling. Just I think expectations were kind of high when they got Donovan Mitchell, and just they're okay. They're not bad, but they're just they haven't been able to kind of compete with the top of the East.
9. I mean, they're not that.
No, again, but
the
Pacers are 11-8, so it's not like they're lighting the world on fire.
Yeah. They've won 7 out of their last 10, so we'll see.
But we'll see in terms of podcasting what we do, because our usual schedule would be recording Sundays, and there'll only be one game to talk about. Maybe if we watch some in-season tournament games, if we could do it around the NBA or something, or just we'll get a short something out for next week, and good. Then kind of reset to our weekly schedule.
I think we had said earlier, we're kind of glad the Pacers loss happened now, because I think we need a little fire lit under us a little bit.
It would have been nice to kind of win the thing if we could get the trophy and stuff, but
yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't think we're there. I don't know. I think that film needs to be watched and a little fire needed to be lit. And I'd rather have it now than at the end of the year. I want them to say, hey, what do we need to do better?
Charles Barkley guaranteed the Celtics are going to win the NBA Finals. Quote.
This year?
Yes.
After
the loss.
You know what? Last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree, because it's going to force us to go back and look what's going wrong. And I can tell you now, we are not using Drew the way we need to use Drew. He's a very talented player, and I think he's a little lost. Derek White, same thing, talented player, and I think he's a little lost right now. And so I think it's going to force them to really think about how they're using people.
Agreed.
So I think it was one of the better things that could have happened. Of course, I would have loved to win, but I don't think it's a bad thing. And I don't think it's a bad time for it to be happening.
Yep.
To kind of rethink the direction. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Got a question. If you're losing to the Pacers, are you going to win the whole thing? I don't know. So
Well,
But anyway,
plenty of time to figure it out, and we'll
Yep.
be here to comment through it all.
to guide them.
Yes.
Come on, Missoula.
Exactly. Missoula listens weekly and takes our advice. So you'll see Tatum with a good 10 post-ups next on Friday.
He
Get us
did listen
going.
to us about the timeouts. I don't know if you noticed. There were a few
He
more
did.
timeouts.
He called a couple.
He's
It's like,
more than he
wow.
usually does.
Yes, I know. I was like, oh, wow.
More
I'm
than he
just gonna-
usually does. Well, he
not
kind
just
of had
gonna-
to.
Yeah, not just gonna
like-
get stabbed and let us bleed out.
Yeah, like Scal says, oh, they're gonna have to right the ship. They're gonna have to figure it
Yeah,
out
he's
themselves.
gonna let him play through. It's like,
They're
again?
gonna have to right the ship. Well, the ship
like,
isn't
who-
getting. Yeah.
Who on the team is a floor general that's gonna right this ship? It's like,
Yes,
gonna take
yes.
another ill-advised shot.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a quick 3-pointer
Yeah.
with 2 guys on me and
Jaylen
hope it
Brown's
goes
like,
in.
what if I pull up from 35 feet? It's like, oh,
And he
boy.
actually, percentage-wise, overall, I think had one of the better shooting nights as
Yeah,
well.
I agree. I mean, he's a streaky,
But
he's
not from
streaky as they
3.
come. Yes.
None of our guys on a consistent basis.
He's
has
he's
had-
also just the ultimate no, yes guy. It's like
Yeah.
every shot. you're
Used
like,
to be
"Oof."
Marcus Smart. No,
Yes.
no, no. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well-
So anyway,
You can find us per usual worldwide at Shamrock Talk Pod on Twitter, at Shamrock Talk on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I'm putting out another clip this week. Had our first clip. Got us some followers on Instagram with that one.
yeah, lots of
Reposting that out.
views.
So
Look at us.
Yeah, we're getting it going on the social. So follow us there.
This week's
what-
non
Unofficial sponsor of this week, Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
Sparkling blueberry lemon
Sparkling
water.
blueberry
Unofficial
lemon
host.
water.
Unofficial.
Unofficial
Sponsor.
sponsor of this week's Shamrock Talk.
Woo!
If you'd like to be the official sponsor, let me know. The price is extremely low.
We have a lot of overhead.
Your logo can be here for as little as a can of seltzer, basically. Ship mom a 6-pack, and we'll rep you all year. That's all we need.
Perfect.
So
Sample.
yes, if you're a brand that wants to advertise with us, let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you next week with another unofficial sponsor, or someone becomes the official sponsor. Go Celtics.
Go Celtics.